So I am going to sort of work through this today, and I'm going to give you a little bit of a presentation. I'm going to go through it kind of quickly, and then I'm going to show how to get data on our portal, and I'll go through that a couple of times. And then what I want to do is take a volunteer from the audience, and we will have a collaborative exercise together. So if you don't have your computer with you, no worries. We're going to do something together. We're going to figure it out together. So Census Bureau is a contractor. We work for all these other federal agencies. They pay us. We go out there. We collect data for them. So you know us for that decennial census, which we do once every 10 years. We also do a mathematical census every year. It's called population estimates. It's mainly for towns and counties. They get a mathematical increase or decrease every year. Okay, and usually that's in July. So for New York City, you probably only see for the whole of New York City and each county, they get a number, and we've estimated how many people live there or how much they've lost or whatever. Anyway, these are all the other kind of things that we do. For example, CDC, we collect data in our office in Lower Manhattan, and that data goes off to the CDC, and they do with it as they need to, and they put it on their own website. Okay. So it's not on our website, it's on their website. But that's how we keep some of our people employed, doing work for them all the time. We actually do a survey every third year for New York City, and that's called the Housing Vacancy Survey, and that goes off to the Housing Department. And so they use that data as they need to. So we are a government agency, but we're also a contractor. This is what we'll talk about today, American Community Survey. So we have our own surveys that we do. American Community Survey is our largest survey. And so that's probably what you know. Okay, this is what it looks like. If you've ever maybe seen it or received it, the paper form. Hopefully you didn't get the paper form, because that means you did it online. When we send it out to you right away, you can just do it on your phone when you receive it. And please do it if you receive it. Okay, around 3.5 million addresses are selected a year. It's an algorithm that selects those addresses. We don't know if people live there or if they don't. Even if nobody answers the door ever when we get there, we interview the unit. So part of the survey is all about housing and housing units, and we will go to a tax office or whoever, the neighbors, whoever it is, and try to figure out as much as we can about the housing unit, even if nobody's living there. Okay, so we're collecting that data first by mailing to people. We give you a code. If you want to do the survey online, you can do it online. If you don't do it online, about a week later, you will receive the paper form. And if you don't do that paper form within the first month, we will come knocking at your door. Okay. All sorts of geographic levels. You can get data all different ways. Most likely today, I will just show you how to get data at a census tract level. But for New York City, the PUMA level is very useful as well. If we're all from New York City. And then we have 1 year and 5 year data, and I will explain that too. And I just want you to see what the form looks like. There are some checkoff boxes, but we allow people to write in whatever they want to write in. Okay, and then we have our own categories, and we categorize them. Okay. ACS, so you know this, it's deep demographics, deep questions, 72 questions. We're happy if you answer most of those questions, or whoever it is answers most of the questions. They don't have to answer all the questions. We don't care about people's names. So if you say, I just want to be known as X, or maybe I want to be known as ABC or whatever, it's okay with us. All right, we'll just take it as is, because this isn't something that people are going to go back looking in Ancestry.com or anything like that. We just need the statistics, and on we go. All sorts of table numbers, prefixes, B, C, S, DP. I think today we're going to look at the DP tables, and so I'm going to say this more than once. DP tables, data profile tables, are like the Walmarts of tables. They have a lot of information in them, but they don't really delve into any one thing too specifically. Okay? And then data, for ACS, you can get it down to a tract level. A lot of people do believe you can get it at a block group level. I would say no. Once you get down to a block group level, the statistics are very wishy-washy. We don't have a big enough sample, and you'll have very high margins of error, or you have data dropout. So if anybody in your office tells you you can get it at a block group level, say, well, yeah, maybe, but just be wary of that when you're looking at that, okay? So I actually recommend only the tract level or above, okay? And I'm going to say I don't even always recommend a zip code. New York City will work okay for zip codes because you have a lot of people. We need 4,000 people in an area to get reliable statistics. But once you're in little towns around the country, zip codes don't work too well, okay? These are the 4 tranches of data that are in ACS, and this is what we'll kind of take a look into today. So we have the social aspect, the demographics, which are very comparable to a 10-year census, that decennial census. Then we have economic data in there as well, economics of people, and then housing, all about the what's going on with the housing unit, not necessarily people in the housing unit. All right. So this is for ACS, and then these things down here are from that decennial. Okay. So we just took the decennial. A lot of problems because of the pandemic, and it's been taking years and years to release that data. Okay. So just so you understand, there's a little bit of a difference. This tranche right here, DPO5, is pretty comparable to a decennial census, though. Okay? Yeah.
So I'm just checking on the AV.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Okay.
I have a quick question.
Yeah.
Were you showing that orange box at the bottom that you're saying that demographic, economic, housing are also in the census, or you were just saying that the top 4?
These top 4 are in ACS, and this is what's in the 10-year census.
Oh,
so
it's not, you just haven't put the box there, it's not related to the...
It's not related to it, no. Yeah. Okay, that's a good question. Thank you. All right, little geography lesson. I'm going to work my way backwards. I don't know if it's apropos for New York City. It is apropos for New York City, actually. So every block in the nation gets a number. They're renumbered after every decennial census or for every decennial census. You can get data down to the block level from decennial census numbers because everybody's counted in that census, all right? The blocks nest within block groups. You can get block group data at the decennial level, okay, because everybody's counted. Some data you can get from ACS at the block group level, but I don't advise it. Okay, block groups are then nested within a tract. Tracts were invented in New York City after the 1910 census. Federation of Churches came to New York to the Census Bureau, said, let's create something that's very stable through time. Tracts have about 4,000 people in them. You can go through time and see how different tracts have changed. So New York City, 1910 until forever, still now, right? So tracts nest within a county nests within a state, and state within the U.S. So that's sort of the spine of our geographies. A little problem here, though, is that if you had a city like Los Angeles or Atlanta that's expanding all the time, the tracts don't nest within those cities. All right. Luckily for New York is made up of counties, right? So it nests within those counties, and so it works pretty well for New York. It even works pretty well for outside New York, like Long Island or Westchester County. But all these other geographies we have here, zip code tabulation areas, places, minor civil division, that's more New England. Congressional districts, school districts. Okay, New York City is one big school district. But PUMAs, I just want to bring your attention to public use microdata areas for New York City. I think I might have another slide here. Yeah, PUMAs. So the city of New York has been working for forever, I'll say, with the Census Bureau and the state to make sure that the community boards or community districts, that the PUMAs kind of align to those. Okay, so when you go looking for data, if you need data by community district or more or less by community district, you'll look for the PUMA. Okay, public use microdata area. And we call it microdata because it's a bigger area, but we get down into the data more. So if you ever wanted to see what the different languages are that are spoken around New York City and you want to really get into the microness of it or the weeds, you would look for the PUMA data, okay? Okay, let me just move on from that. Yeah. Yeah.
So these are basically defined by like the city planning?
City planning is pretty powerful, yes. And they go, I think it's called population division, and they work with the state and Census Bureau. And it would only be, I think, this year that the newer PUMAs are released. So it takes them about 2 years after a decennial census to create those new PUMAs. So PUMAs are redrawn a little bit like congressional, I shouldn't say it that way, but because of the census count that came out of the 2020 census. Okay, so they were just redrawn. Yes?
What are pumas like in other cities, other states?
Messy. I mean, they have to nest within counties, and sometimes they'll be half of a city and half of in the county or whatever. But sometimes they can work well, but for New York City, they work really well. Okay, this is probably one good thing. Yeah.
So for other municipalities, who determines the pumas?
It's usually the state data center. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And there's a requirement that comes out after every 10-year census. They have to have at least 100,000 people in a PUMA, and they're named and numbered. So here it has a number, but when we're looking for it in data.census.gov, it has a name, and it's much easier to find with that name. Okay, so these strict sort of rules that come out and are given to the state to create these PUMAs are a little bit stringent for them, a little bit difficult. Okay, so you have a little compassion for city planning but they really have worked on this. Okay, this is my most important slide. I want you to know that when we go looking for data, we have in the Census Bureau 1-year data and 5-year data for ACS, American Community Survey. I don't know if you've gone looking and suddenly you can't find your data. If an area has 65,000 or over, you can get data every year in September, and it's called 1-year data, and it's built on the interview from the previous 1 year. So I just want to clarify one thing, because everybody asks me this question. So let's think about this. We are in, I don't even know what year we're in, 2024. We just finished 2023. It took the whole year of 2023 to interview ACS. And now, from the beginning of 2024 until September, it will take 9 months, same length as having a child, right? Maybe 10 months, I'm not. But anyway, to tabulate all that data for the whole country. Okay, imagine we're trying to get this into PUMAs and tracts, and everything gets a name, and we're trying to tabulate that, and all these masses of data, right? And so it takes until September. So it takes 9 to 10 months to get that done, all right? So people say, well, why isn't the 2023 out now? It's because it doesn't happen overnight, okay? So it will be released in September. It's called 1-year data. It's for large cities. It's for anything over 65,000 in population. So let's think of this. The counties for New York State, only half of them have more than 65,000 people in them. So what happens then? So those other counties have to go looking for what's called 5-year data, because the sample's not large enough. So the 5-year data was amassed over 5 years, and then we get the average, and then we release it every year in December. Okay, so they have to wait until December. Or if you're looking for census tract information for New York City, you have to wait until December. So it's almost a whole year after the fact, okay? You can get that data every year, but it is an average over 5 years, so always 4 years of overlap if you're pulling up the data for every year. So some people don't like that. Statisticians don't like this overlap in collection of data. And so what's like the City of New York, what they've told me they pull the data, it's a compromise, every 3 years. So they said, okay, it's not quite an overlap. It's not a full overlap, but it's less of an overlap or whatever. So they do it every 3 years. So anyway, just these sort of things that you can look for. 5-year data, even above 65,000, they get 5-year data too. They get 1 year and 5 years. So I really tell people, go looking for that 5-year, look for it as 5-year data, unless you know that you're only looking for the City of New York and you want 1-year data, or county or whatever. All right, so 5-year data is probably the best way to go. Okay, I'm going to go. No, wait, let me go back. All right, let's look at this. 4,000 is the average of census tract populations around the country. So this is done by on purpose. Below 4,000 in population, the margin of error gets higher and higher because people don't answer every question. All right, so you do need to be aware of that. If you get a census tract, there are a few, right, that may have, it might be like the Statue of Liberty or something, its own census tract. It has 25 people in it. You don't want to use that data. Okay, so you want to have maybe 3,000 to 4,000 above people in a census tract. Okay, I don't know that we really need to do this. Really quick, I'll go through this. This is just how you look at anatomy of a table ID. We do have sort of our own Dewey Decimal System for table ID, and I didn't write it anywhere but on something called censusreporter.org, if you want to write that down. It is a really good website to use. It is not our website. They list all the whole scheme of how things are put in there. So you go Census Reporter, and then down at the bottom, I think it says Table IDs Explained. Okay, and it is really good to use that website in tandem with our own website. So Census Reporter, all pushed together.org, and you can go there. Okay. And they even, when you go looking here, they will even show you the question on the form. And sometimes that will answer a question for you, okay? Okay, then this is just sort of a subset. And then this I like to show because if you get a letter over here, your suffix, it means you're dealing with only one race. Okay, so we do have certain things broken out by race, but don't go looking for a table and suddenly, you see that this letter's there, but you're not paying attention. And you say, why am I getting these numbers that don't seem to line up? It's because it's selected for one race, okay? So today we're going to go into this. So has anybody used this before or tried to use it? Did you feel you were successful? How many people thought they were successful? Oh, okay. All right. That's all right. That's normal. What's that?
I was after a little while.
Okay, all right.
It just took some time.
Okay, so this is the secret here is advanced search. Okay, it is not this window. It is this right here, advanced search. And then we're going to filter it today. It's supposed to have everything going back until 2000. We're trying to, at least for ACS and decennial data, but we're trying to put everything in there going forward, and it doesn't always work. Okay, so multiple surveys. And then this is what we're shooting for today, to just map things. So if you are a GIS person, I used to be, and I used to import things, and then I could never get that map to go the way I wanted it to go. You can actually map it in our system, and there's a histogram in there, if you know what that is, a classing system, and you can do your classing on the fly, and then you can grab the URL, you can copy it and paste it, and it will save it for you. Okay, and you can have that map yourself if you want to do that, or you can just use it to analyze and figure out where something is. All right. All right. Any questions so far? I know I'm moving fast. Yeah.
I have a question about the use of 5-year versus 1-year data. Granted, 5-year data, I guess you could show smoother trends over time, but for clearly defined pumas in New York City, is there any practical advantage for using the 5-year versus 1-year data?
Yeah, there's an advantage to that actually. If for puma you don't have to, it's so big in population you can use the 1-year data. But if you use the 5-year data, you'll get a more robust sample, and you're guaranteed to probably always have data in there. So the flip side of that is if you took Puma 1-year data and not enough people answered maybe number of Bengali speakers, okay, and we didn't get a high enough intake of that line of data may be left empty in the 1-year data, but probably wouldn't be in the 5-year data.
Got it. And
Okay.
I imagine there are other questions that the low response will be less
Yeah.
certainty about.
Yeah, and also whether it's 1-year or 5-year, but you're guaranteed, almost guaranteed, there's always going to be something there with the 5-year. There usually will be with the 1-year, but some little quirky specialty things are may be empty. Okay. Also, there are more tables released at a Puma level than at a tract or lower level. Okay, just so B16001, do you know that table? That's for all. That's the language. So I'll say it again. B16001. If you go looking for that at 5-year Puma data, you'll get like 50 different languages in an area that people have responded to and the percentages. So it is, it's worthwhile. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to, where's my help? Okay, let me just do that. Okay, that's, I just is required to put that up there. So I'm going to go on to the internet. Okay, and then before I go on here, let me just say, since we have a lot of GIS people, if you are trying to download data from data.census.gov and you're going to use it in your GIS system, or maybe you have for Brooklyn all the tracks for Brooklyn and you want to align that data up, you need to use Chrome and you need to download the data as a zip file. That's the only way you're going to get those geo IDs. Okay, the only way I guarantee you'll get it. Okay, you may get them in a CSV or an Excel, but probably not. Okay, so you'll need that to join your data to your shapefiles. Okay, so here we go, and the secret to this is right here. It's advanced search. So we go to advanced search, and I'm going to show you a few times how we do something. If you let me know, I'm going to do this by tract, but you let me know if you want me to do something by Puma, and we'll do that as well. So the first thing that's going to happen is you get this blank screen, and you look at this and you say, there's nothing here. What do I do? And the thing is, you have to come over here, and I'm closing these just so you see there are all these filters, and you need to actually activate things in the filter to start finding what you want, okay? So I tend to recommend that the first thing you should activate is the year, okay? Now, nothing for 2100, these are projections, nothing for 2030, nothing for 2024 yet, or 2023. We're really only at 2022 for ACS, okay? And so I click on that, then notice it comes up here into my filters, all right? And I can actually go to surveys if I want to, or geography. So I tend to go year, geography, and then survey or topic. So one or the other. I don't really use codes. So I would say we're going to try this by tract, all right? So you can come down here. By the way, notice it has these geographies listed, but there are all these other geographies down here, if you can see that. And if I click on that, here they all are. And the reason I tell you to choose your year first is because if you don't choose a year, it will give you geographies going back through time that no longer exist. Okay, so even some census tracts may have been cobbled together or subdivided for New York City or the exterior of New York City, and they're in here. But as soon as you select your year, those defunct geographies are filtered out. Okay, you don't have to worry about getting the wrong thing anymore. Okay, I say that with my fingers crossed because sometimes the system doesn't work so well. But here we go, census tract. So what happens here, think about this. I just defined what I'm looking for. I said census tract, but now I have to parse it down. I have to go through the motions to get to where I want. And so this is the thing where people make the most mistakes. They come here and they get a little bit mixed up. But I'm working to the state, and then I come down here and I will go ahead and select, I guess, Queens County, since we're in Queens County. And you can select the tracts you want, or you can say, I just want all the tracts in Queens County, and that's what I'm doing. I'm selecting that, okay? So they're all up here, right there, and then I can come over here and I can either go to topics or surveys. Let me just close that. And so I will go to surveys. So notice this for 2022, the system knows there are only two things available, American Community Survey or Community Resilient Estimates, okay? So I'm taking American Community Survey, and it only offers me 5-year estimates because it says you're at the tract level, so you only get 5-year. And we're going to look at this data profile. So data profile, those are those big Walmart tables I told you about, right? But we also have detailed tables which get into one specific thing, like maybe veterans or health or something like that. You can get into detailed tables, and it will just give you a number, okay? I'm not totally comfortable with just a number since this is it's not a full survey, it's partial, whatever, but subject tables will give you they'll get into a specific subject and they'll give you a number and a percentage, okay? So for right now, I'm selecting data profile. Okay, so now I have these three things right here, and I'm just going to do this. I'll come up here and say tables. And so now it's letting me know I'm window shopping. Which of these three tables do I want? And maybe I say, okay, I'm going to maybe look at economic characteristics, okay? So I click on that, economic characteristics, and it's calling up a massive table for me. Have you ever got to this point and said, oh no, and it says table too large, you have to download it, or right here it says, open the table anyway. And you just click on that, and there's the table. Okay, so this is the table. It's allowing you to kind of window shop right now, and you can sort of toggle back and forth between these four things if you wanted to. I advocate for looking before you download, just to look through the table and make sure that that's really what you want or what you're searching for is in that table. I'm not even a great advocate of downloading everything. I don't know, unless you have a lot of memory, in your agency. But, you might just want to bookmark it or something. And if you get to this point, it took you a while to get here, and this is kind of what you want, please grab the URL, copy and paste it into something, and then tomorrow when you come back or a week from now, you don't quite remember how to get there, if you click on that URL, this is your shortcut into what you set up, okay? And then you can just come back over here to filters, and you can manipulate things around if you want to go that route, okay? But here's the table. Let's just look at this table. So here's Queens, and I do want to point out that sometimes the first and second tracks that are here in a table might just say 0 because they're what we call water tracks that we set up out in the areas of water in case there's ever, like in Florida, they fill it up with land and suddenly there are houses out there. So we have to create these sorts of things. Okay, so we have all this information down here, and maybe we'll look at this, commuting to work. It's listed not where you would think. So anything that's here in capital letters means that there are subject and specialized subject and base tables elsewhere dealing with that topic, getting really into the weeds, all right? But look, here are sort of the subsets of it, and here's a really cool thing, worked from home, okay? 5 years of data means that 2 of the years of collection were pre-pandemic, right? So 1 year during the pandemic and then now 2 years after. And then we have other things, occupation people are in, industry, things of that sort, class of worker, how much people make, the median household income, the mean household income, all sorts of things as you go through here. Health insurance, and there's a lot of information here about health insurance as well. So you can just sort of go through all of this if you want to and take a look at it. And okay, let's look at the table too. You always get an estimate. We want to be transparent as government. We give you margin of error, and then we always give you a percent in the DP tables and a percent margin of error. A lot of people, especially reporters, don't like to look at the margins of error, so you can just turn them off. There's a button right there, and then you kind of are good to go. But you might want to look at those margins of error sometimes, okay? And while we're on this topic, I like to say I have seen, so I've seen some young people in college, in university, before they're in the work world, grabbing the data, and they see what we at the Census Bureau call an outlier. And you see something that's totally doesn't look quite right on the map or whatever, and you say, wow, look at them, those people make a lot of money. And they say, well, you need to click on the outlier and just analyze it a little bit. And then you see, oh, there are only 25 people in that tract, and maybe only one person who made a lot of money answered that question, So pay attention to your outliers, all right? So here we have all this information. And once again, you can turn things on and off. You can transpose it up here if you want to. All sorts of icons up here. Here is the zip file. If you want to download that, and I'm in Chrome, you can download it and you will get your GeoID. Okay, so it is right there, and you may need that. Okay, You can transpose things. That doesn't necessarily help me, but some people like to look at it that way. Look and see what else I need to tell you here. Anyway, that's how you get the table. All right, that's how you get to it. I recommend if you got there, bookmark it. Okay. Okay, I'm going to show you how to map it. Okay, and let's cross your fingers that it works. Thursday mornings, we are always prepping this system. Thursday mornings are not good mornings to use data.census.gov. I'm just God's honest truth here, because it used to be once a month on a Thursday. Now I feel like it's every week on a Thursday morning, actually. Okay, so this is the mapping, how it looks when you map. It is a choropleth map, and we get to here, and it has mapped every tract in Queens. But what has it mapped? It just took the first variable in that table and it mapped it, right? But I don't want that. Let's look at the median household income, which would be a number. So I have to either choose between a percentage and a number down here at the bottom. So I will click on a number, right? And it's going to change the map already, but I haven't even indicated what I'm looking for. So I come down here and I say, okay, I want, I don't know, I'm just going to say the median household income in dollars. And I click on that, and let's just see if we get anything. So here is our choropleth map that it has created for us. I can change my color system. Right here's a button for color. I can just make it more robust if I want my colors to pop, right? So here it is. And then you can do a few more other things. Some people want to turn on boundaries. Maybe they want to turn on the zip codes over this, and they can come here, boundaries, and turn on zip codes. Sort of an overlay. I don't even see, it's oh, here it is down here. This is not aesthetically pleasing. Let me just put it that way. I'm not even sure that everybody can read all of this. The choropleth map is pretty good, but the boundary overlay, not really sure about that, okay? But anyway, just showing you that it is here, and I'm actually going to turn it off because it just annoys me. So here we have the choropleth map. We kind of are looking at the median household income around Queens, right? So you can zoom in and you can kind of get a feeling for what's going on. But then you also have a base map system right here. And I can also make my colors, much more transparent. The base map maybe isn't the best one in the world, but it does give you a feeling for what's going on there. If you wanted to use this as sort of like your ad hoc GIS, I'll say, or maybe you don't use a GIS, but you want to look at it this way. So, but let me go back here to colors. I'm going to just make it full color like that. So this is something you can use yourself if you want to do that. All right, I'm going to show you. Actually, any questions so far? Yeah, go ahead.
I had a question I thought of about the 5-year versus 1-year
Yeah.
Data. So with the 5-year, because you said some of that data we were looking at is from 2019.
Yeah.
So in that, are you trying to get one response per participant, and some of them may have submitted it at one point in time and some of them later? Or are you asking them each year and then you get some responses and you
So only 1% of the population is surveyed a year. So if there are 10 people living in this area, only one person, not even one person, that's 10%. If there are 100 people living in the area, one person will get surveyed a year. Mm-hmm. So do you want that one person to become your average? No. So we go over 5 years, so we get at least 5 households, and then we get a bigger average, okay? And so that's kind of what we need. So it isn't like we're surveying everybody every year. We're not, because that's a burden on the public and nobody would do it. So it's only 1% of the population per year. And there's a little bit of, how am I going to say this nicely? A statistical magic behind the scenes going on in the Census Bureau, where they're trying to to correct some things sometimes. Okay, so that I think that's the best way I'm going to say that. So there's a little bit of a give and take that's our statisticians are performing to make corrections, but it's not. I don't know how much it is, a lot or a little. I don't think it's a lot, but it's somewhat. Okay, I don't know if I answered your question, but we're not surveying everybody all the time every year. It's just 1% of the population.
To clarify, so you're going to a different 1% and then.
And we're getting the average over 5 years, and we have to do it that way. We can't. We're not allowed to burden the public with too much interviewing. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, so let's just look at this. I'm going to stick with this map right now. And so right here is the magic button if you want to do this classing system. You probably, if you have a GIS, you have something like this. Okay, so for those who are non-GIS people or non-mapping people, I'm going to bring you over here to the left. There's a legend right here. You can grab this thing and pull it around if you want. But the idea here is the darker the color, it's psychologically intuitive to you that there is more of something. Okay, you're probably not even looking to see how much it is. You just know there is more of something. You know, we're talking about median income. Over here, it's wealthier. You already see that there's something going on here and here. So you kind of see it. It's called natural breaks. The prevalence of something is broken up naturally, how it goes up and down in this. I'll call it a schema right here. You can change the way the schema looks, and you can do it manually as well if you want to do that. But if you want to just equal interval, you can do it that way. It will really change the way your map looks. So you can certainly do that. Okay, I'll go back to natural breaks, just showing this to you. And this is what I really like to show people. You can, if you want to analyze, you can just say, okay, I only want 2 breaks. I want the wealthy tract and everything else. And I just pull it over there and I find that wealthiest tract. Was that an outlier? I don't remember. And then if you click on it, you can figure out what that tract is. A lot of people live there. Oh no, not a lot. That's the average. And you can, I'm not going to say this is the best thing to do, but you can click on this view profile and it will tell you a little bit about that tract. And you can get like maybe a little bit better picture. So let's just see, oh, there's quite a lot of streets there. Okay, so 1,500 people over here live in the tract. I don't know, you might go into the table and see how large your margin of error is, okay? But, okay, I don't really know where that is in Queens, but I'll leave that for you to decide what you think about that, okay? So up here, I want you to know that these back arrows up here at the very top left where my cursor is, you can just hit back and it brings you back to your table. Yeah,
I just got a little behind when
that's okay.
you were manipulating the classes.
What did I do?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is what I did. We'll go back to classes. It gave me natural breaks. It will by default give you 5 classes. When I took cartography, we said that 5 classes, how much a human can read the color variation. 6 maybe. I wouldn't go to 10, but maybe 5 or 6, all right? So it comes up like this, but I came up here to the classing system, and I said, I only want 2 classes, which is 2 colors, right? And notice that one of those tracks is over here. Each one of these right here is a tract. So I took my dividing line and I pulled it over to here, and it isolated that one tract for me. Okay, does that make sense?
Yeah, but I guess what is it measured? Like, what's within the class? Is it income? Is it?
Oh, yeah, whatever the variable was, the number, it's finding how many there are within that variable and sort of putting them along the line. And it's sort of giving you, so right here there are more tracks with this average medium in this part, okay? So yeah, just play around with it a little bit and I think you'll get it, all right? All right, so I'm going to do this. I'm going to come over here to, this is what I'm going to do. Okay, if you come over here to the, oh, wait a minute, let's not do that. All right, I'm going to do this. Sorry about this. before I leave and clear this out, let's do this. All right, 6. All right, here's the map. I don't know if you'll ever need it or whatever. So I will come up here. Hopefully I can do this. Let me see if that works. No. Oh yeah, okay. Okay, if you want that, here's the QR code. Okay, just in case you want that as a shortcut to get into this map, if you want to aim your phone up there and take a picture, that's it. Okay, or anybody who's online. Okay, did it work? It may. By the way, this works on your phone. You just have to fool around with it and figure it out. I mean, I don't mean just the map. I mean the whole data.census.gov. Okay, I'm going to take it down. And what I'm going to do is come over here to Census Bureau Web, the logo. When I click on that, it clears the whole thing out. It clears out your cache, everything. So I come back to Advanced Search. So I showed you how to get tracks, right? So let's do something else. Let's come down here, same year, 2022. Okay. And I will close that. So it's up here in my filters. You see what I did? I selected the year. Then, excuse me, geography. And I am going to, it's not here, I'm going to try Pumas since we talked about Pumas. And you can just come up here and you can type it in, public use, I think. It will be here, public use. Oh, I just saw that. There it is. Oh, come on. Select that area. Okay, so I defined what I want. I come down here to New York. And I'm going to come down here. So look at this. I can take all the Pumas in New York, meaning New York State, or I can go looking for them, or I can do this. I can say, I know that everything in New York City starts with NYC hyphen. And there they are. Okay, so Pumas are sort of divided up, by state. So you can go through here. This is what's a little annoying about this. It seems like they've sort of commingled the old ones and the new ones. Let me just make sure. Brooklyn. Okay, I will just grab the ones for Manhattan. So I just take them anyway. It should have, I think they're both in here, meaning the older ones and the newer ones. We're going to see what we get. Yeah, see, I have 2 District 8s. I don't know which one is which now. It should have sorted it out for me. But, you need to see, I need to suffer through your pain, right? So here we go. Those are all those Pumas, and we're going to see what happens here. So this is what I want to do. I will look for, we're going to go to American Community Survey, and I'm going to look for, I guess I'll stick with 5-year estimates. And we're going to look for, I think it's a detailed table that I'm looking for. All right, and so I'll do that. I don't really say what the table is. And you can come here to topics. And so maybe you want to come down here, whatever you're looking for, populations. And I am looking for language spoken at home. Okay, I did talk about that before. And I will click on tables up here. Okay, and then these are sort of the different tables that are available for all these different tracks. So even though it had all those different, not tracks, Pumas, it sorted it out. It figured out which is the one that's the current one, okay? So this is one of my favorite tables, B16001. I click on that, and these are languages spoken at home. So notice it really gets in to the different language groups and what people speak at home. I only selected Manhattan, so that could be a challenge. I think it's more the other boroughs that have all these different languages, but a lot of languages are in here, okay? So we could actually go through and kind of map to see what's going on. But anyway, this is one of those tables. So let's just try that really quickly. Just so I clicked on the map icon. Okay, and so here we have, or we should have, it comes up, it mapped something. So let's just at least try this. I come over here, right? I have to alert it to what I'm looking for. And I come down here and we know that there's Chinese. So let's try Chinese if we can find it. Okay, and notice, I think this only gives you numbers and not percentages. Okay, if you see Chinese, yell, please.
Oh, there it is.
It is? Oh, yeah, thank you. Okay, so I'm just going to take Chinese, and I'll just take all Chinese, okay, whether it's well or not very well. Okay, so it does find, you know, numbers or the average numbers in these community districts. So let's just click on it and see what we get. So 32,000, like 33,000 or 32 and a half. Yeah, 32,000. And then over here, we're getting other things, 8,000. Here we get something else, 10,000. You know, so it's sort of giving you the average over time. And so that is something you can do with this. By the way, if you are in this and you are, for example, right here, and you went this route, there's a little button up here that says select, and you can click on that and you say, oh, but I wanted these over here also. Just draw a square through it and it will add it to your selection. It will add it to your table as well if you needed that. Let me just grab some of these. Okay, so you can do that. Oh, okay, so see, it kind of changes the way and it will average everything out for you. Okay, so, yeah, we're going to come up with our scenario. And so this is how it works. He's going to come up here and take over the machine. And you all have to work him through the problem. Okay, he doesn't have, it's like Simon says, he does whatever you tell, whatever you say to do. Okay, you got that? All right, so what do we want to know? Okay, we're going to take all the tracks in Manhattan. Okay, and let's find, so we want 2022 5-year data, right? Okay, all the tracks in Manhattan, 2022 5-year data. And we want, well, and that's ACS, right? And from the DP table, so you want it to be a DP table, you need to find, it's under commuting, and we're looking for, we're looking for? Oh, people who work from home, okay? So you are going to talk him through this now, okay? He's going to come back. Got that? So you're going to, first you're going to tell him how to clear this out. How does he get rid of this?
Click on the logo, the census logo.
This one, right? Okay.
Click advanced search.
First, you're gonna go to year on the left.
Year on the
Keep
left.
Scrolling down
Oh, okay.
for years. And
Okay.
You're gonna select 2022.
Right. We want to do that first so we don't look at weird geographies, right? Okay. So we're in 2022.
Let's go to geography. We want census tract
Mm-hmm.
and New York.
All right. That one.
What was the prompt again? I forgot.
We want Manhattan,
Okay.
so
New York.
they're going to be under, yeah.
Okay. And it's all census tracts, that first one.
Okay.
And then topics,
Mhm.
population and people. Making some surveys. Are we doing in ACS?
It's yes, it's ACS, American Community Survey. What type of table did I tell you to look for?
The 5-year table for DP. Data profile.
Right.
Okay, so he's waiting for you all to.
What happens if they're
Oh, what happens if you click?
Go to
Right.
change.
Search.
Oh, the search. Okay.
Oh.
Gotcha.
Maybe
Okay, so we have these tables.
Oh, you know what, John? I think it's Control Plus might make the screen a little larger.
Sure.
Yeah.
How's that?
Yeah, that's good.
So that gives us 4 tables.
Population for people.
Population of people.
So we go to population and people again.
Again, okay.
See what happens.
I think I have too many filters here.
Yeah, I would say 3 filters is the most you want to go for. Yeah.
Okay. So I had 2022 all census tracts and population of people, so probably search, no?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, here are all the tables.
Yeah, how many, remember I told you what kind of table you were looking for?
I think you need to go to.
It's converting characteristic. Oh wait, that's by sex. Never mind.
Okay, so we need to filter by type of people.
But that's not a bad way to go, but DP has the information.
We saw it before, how did they get?
So I think it's under surveys. I think that's how we got to it. 5-year estimates, data
Right, so we
profile.
want data profiles.
Yeah.
Maybe get rid of the population and people filter.
I think this is where we were before.
And then how do you get to your tables again? Is that right? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Open the table.
This one? Demographics, housing.
Economic characteristics? I don't know.
That sounds right. Economic. Let's see.
Maybe.
No, but this is not bad. We got 5 minutes left. So this is what I do. I kind of look through the table really quickly. So let's see. Economic. What do you think that's under?
Employment.
Commuting.
Let's try both.
There.
Yeah, right?
Okay. So now what? Oh, look. So did you notice that? What he can do? You can, with the little arrow, you can close and open what's in there.
Click on work from home, or don't click on it.
Oh, okay. So the other thing you can do, I didn't tell you this, the little chevrons, little arrows up here at the top, you can click on them and it will push them over to the left. Yeah, just do that. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's okay.
Okay.
Can you click map? Yeah.
Oh my god, we are so genius.
And now we want to change what it's looking for. So right now it's looking for in labor force, population 16 and over. Yeah, we want to edit that.
It's on the map. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's on the left here. Okay, we want work from home, right?
Yes.
Nice. Okay.
Can you find the highest tract? How's he going to do that?
Classes.
How do we do
Yeah, we can change the bins. There's the
Class. I think classes.
Yeah.
class.
Class is up at the top.
It's at the top?
Yeah, top row. There it is.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah, okay, so we want
Okay, don't do anything till they tell you what to do.
sorry.
Reduce this to level 2.
Yeah.
And then drag it over to the right.
Like all the way here.
Yeah.
Slightly
Slightly over to the left
Yeah,
a
it wasn't
little.
too far. Okay.
There
There it is.
it
Wow.
Do you want to see in here?
Let's click on so you can click on it and see 52%. Yeah. Do you want to look at the profile? Just see maybe there's only 25 people living there. I don't know. It'll start coming up with some information for you. Oh, Hunter College? Is that where? Oh no, it's. Oh no, you got a lot of people living there. So it's a pretty reliable statistic.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, that's.
Okay, so they don't need a new subway system over there. Yeah. So, okay, good. Thank you very much. So got it? And then, so once again, if you didn't get these are some exercises to take home if you want to do them. And there's a QR code I'm not really good at giving instructions. It's just sort of will come up with a map for you, and you can see what my filters were, okay? And this is my V card on the back if you need that, okay? Thank you.